Hi all, welcome back to this channel. If you have been following along, we have already created a video on Model Context Protocol or MCP. It is a game changer in AI integration. If you want to see that video and have a little bit idea about MCP, the link will be in the description. But you don't have to go to that video now, as I will be explaining why we needed MCP at the first place in the introduction of this video. Today we will do something practical with MCP. We will create a simple MCP server which will give capabilities to our GitHub Copilot AI agent and Gemini CLI to automatically resolve your PR review comments. We will see the demo, we will see the repo, also we will see how we can configure MCP server in GitHub Copilot AI agent if we are using it in IntelliJ, and how we can configure MCP server in Gemini CLI. By the end of the video, you will be convinced that MCP server, even though they are very simple and we can create it ourselves, can boost your software development workflow to a lot. So let's get started. So we'll start by seeing why we needed MCP at the first place. Let's say you are using GitHub Copilot agent in your VS Code and you want to connect to Slack, you want to connect to GitHub, you want to connect to database, or you want to connect to any external service here, right? Either that agent will give you integration with it already, like it will have an inbuilt integration, or you have to create the integration yourself. So let's say after some time you switch from GitHub Copilot agent to Gemini CLI. Now you have to rewrite the AI integration again, and let's say the built-in integration which was given by GitHub Copilot agent which you were using before, that also you have to rewrite again. So let's say if you are using M agents and you have N integrations, you have to rewrite integrations M into N times, and that is a lot of development, that is a lot of debugging, and that is a lot of time waste. So now let's see how MCP helps us in this. Imagine this is your VS Code with GitHub Copilot agent. Now if you want to connect to Slack, you will have a Slack MCP server. If you want to connect to GitHub, you will have a GitHub MCP server. If you want to connect to any external service, let's say any database or anything, you will have that MCP server, and you can configure it with your GitHub Copilot AI agent. Now let's say if you switch from GitHub Copilot AI agent to Gemini CLI, the problem we had before, you can still reconfigure the MCP servers in that. And these MCP servers, you can either use the already created MCP servers, or you can create your own MCP server. So let's say if some tool or some capability, some context is not given by the already created MCP servers, you can create your own MCP server. This is what MCP brings to us. It will bring down your work to only N times. You just have to configure MCP servers, or you have to create MCP server only one time, and you can configure with all your AI agents. So you can say it brings a standard way to connect to our AI agent. It acts as a bridge between our AI agents and our external services. For us developers, it means that we can create simple MCP servers, or we can use the already created MCP servers and boost our software development workflow. This is my demo PR which I have created. For the demo I have to show you. This is the simple URL shortener project. It doesn't have any database. It saves your URLs into a hash map. It is a simple demo project I have created for this video. I have done a lot of mistakes here, and I have also given PR comments for this. So as you can see, the first comment that this URL generation logic is not robust because it is just using the length. So it will lead to a lot of collisions in hash map. There is no validation. So these are the basic PR review comments we will have in the starting. Controller endpoints name should be RESTful and descriptive. Error handling is not there. The short domain short ly is hard coded, and it should come from property, which is not correct for our deployment. Let's say we have to change it, and there is no unit test for this functionality. So these are the basic comments we will have in our PRs. Usually when we get PR review comments, they are a bit more complex, but I think our MCP server functionality will be same even though they are complex. So for this demo, I have given the simple comments only, and it will depend on the LLM which is solving your PR comments, how well it is doing with it. For creating this MCP server, I have used Spring AI. Helped me a lot creating a MCP server. It is very straightforward. As you can see, I have added Spring AI MCP server Spring Boot starter. It is very easy to create MCP server with this. You can create in Python, you can create in simple Java also. There are SDKs available for this. The POM is very simple. I have used Java 21. And the other dependencies, if you know Java and Spring, are quite simple. There is nothing new or nothing much here. Let's move on to the business logic I have written. This is the business logic. As you can see, it is very simple. It is just going to the GitHub PR and getting the comments from it, and we have given the PR number, the repo name, and the repo owner. So this inputs will be taken up from our prompt. When we give to the AI agent, MCP will need these inputs to do its work. It will get the input from the prompt, and the AI agent can call MCP server and give these inputs and get the results back to it. The business logic is very simple. Here I have called a get API, which is already present in GitHub documentation. Basically, you can create this MCP server from GitHub Copilot AI agent also. If you give a prompt and if you clearly explain to create a MCP server, it will create for yourself. So that also you don't have to do it. Maybe you have to review, you have to change here and there, but it will create MCP server for you, for itself to use basically. Here you can see I'm just iterating through the JSON response and getting the comments and adding to the list and returning the list back. This tool description will mark this method as a tool, which is like a capability which AI agent can call. Here you can see I am getting this GitHub token from property file. When we configure MCP server, we have to give this secret there. Secret we will not hard code here. We will give this as an environment variable in the MCP server when we configure the MCP server into our GitHub Copilot AI agent. Let's move on to this MCP config class. So this is a configuration class for MCP, and this method is needed here when you are using Spring AI MCP server starter to tell MCP server what all tools are there. So if you don't know, in the starting of this MCP protocol, the AI agent as well as server, they communicate with each other to exchange the capabilities and everything. For AI agent to know what capabilities this MCP server is providing, this is needed. As you can see, we have given the tool service which we have created here. So it will list all the tools and will give AI agent in the starting of MCP protocol that these are the capabilities provided by this MCP server which you can use, and these are the inputs you have to give. All the things are automatically done here. We just have to give the object of our tool service which we have created. Let's go to the application properties, because there are some things which are very important here. Without that you will face a lot of issues while using this, because I also faced it. These are the basic properties, the name and all. As you can see, there are a lot of transport you can use. We are using stdio, but there are WebMSC and there are WebFlux, and there are other things you can check out in this documentation as well. It is a very well defined documentation. You can check this out. This link will also be in the description, but we will be using this stdio transport only for this MCP server. So because we are using this stdio transport, I have added this property to make this web application type as none. Now this is version which anything you can give. These are the two important properties here. You have to make the Spring main banner off, but because when I integrated, it was mistakenly reading the banner as JSON, and MCP server was not configuring here. So I removed it, and also I removed the logging pattern console to empty because it was reading the logs also as a JSON response. So when you are doing integration, you will also face this issue. So you can put these two properties and it will start working for you. The last property, GitHub token, which we have added in this service, I have used this syntax. Basically what the syntax means is this properties is taken from here and this will be taken from environment variable. You can define a default value here if you want. So this is a basic Spring syntax. You don't have to worry much about it, but we will be getting this GitHub token from environment. So let's move to our demo repo. I will show you how I have configured the MCP server there. If you want to configure MCP server and you are using IntelliJ with GitHub Copilot, and if you are using this agent mode of GitHub Copilot, you can easily configure MCP server. You just have to click on this settings icon here. It is also saying that configure your MCP server. You can click on it and it will ask you to open this MCP JSON file. As I have already configured, it is showing the MCP server here, but this is how the MCP JSON file will look like for you. It is a standard command. The Java path I have given the arguments and the path of our jar. In the environment variable, as I already told, we are taking the GitHub token, from which we will be able to connect to GitHub and get the PR review comments. So the MCP server will use this token and call the GitHub APIs and get all the PR review comments and will give to this LLM. This will increase the capability of our AI agent here. So after the configuration, it will look something like this. If you click on this settings icon, it is listing the tool we have created and it is saying list all the comments on a pull request. If you check the MCP server we created, we have added this description on this tool. The same thing which is showing there. So this is how you can configure the MCP servers. Also, if you want to see the errors which you are getting while configuring, you can click on this icon here in the left and it will show you the GitHub Copilot MCP log. Here you can see it has discovered one tool, also what it is showing here. So this is how you can debug if any integration issues are there while configuration. So let's move on to the demo of MCP server. As you have already configured the MCP server, I will be giving this prompt to my GitHub Copilot AI agent and let's see what it does. Ideally, it should use my MCP server. Yeah. So as you can see, it is asking for the inputs my MCP server needed for getting all the PR review comments from here. As the input it was asking was incorrect, so I have corrected the input and now I will send it again. It will get the context and I think it will ask for So as you can see, it is asking that if it should use this input and use my MCP server, which is review comments resolver, and then get all the review comments here. So I will click on continue. Here it used my MCP server and used this list PR comment tool, and this is the MCP server, and it got all the PR comments which were on that PR. Ideally, you should resolve these comments one by one. You should tell your agent to resolve these comments one by one, and you should review what it does with that logic. If something is wrong, there are chances your AI agent might hallucinate. It will do something wrong with your code. So better to resolve these one by one and review the changes. But for this video, I will be resolving it all together for the time, because it will resolve it one by one. It will take a lot of time. So I will ask it to resolve all these, and at the end we'll see what changes it has done. As these comments are very basic, I think we can resolve all this together. Let's do it, and at the end we will review what changes it has done. As you can see, it is resolving all the comments, but in between seeing that test comment, if you remember, we had a comment that there is no unit test. It has returned the test and it is asking if it should run this maven test command, so it can run the test and see if everything is correct or not. So I will continue it. As you can see, it has started maven test here. There is an error with the test. I think it will find out that error and it will automatically resolve the error itself. It is asking me to rerun the test. Again, there is a failure and it will automatically detect it and it will do the changes. And it has again asked me for running the test. So it will keep going on. I will go in the end where all the changes are done and the test has been ran. So just wanted to show you that it will automatically detect the error itself and it will automatically run the test again. Now all my tests are run. The build is success, as you can see. I will be going from starting what happened, just to tell you the flow. I told it to resolve the PR review comments on PR number 1. It has told me that it will use this input, but it was wrong, so I gave it the correct input. Now it used my MCP tool list PR comments which I created, and this was my MCP server it used. It got all the PR review comments which I added in that PR. There was a unit test comment also, which we were talking about previously. Then I told it to resolve all the comments together because these are very simple comments and we can review at the end. But ideally you should do it one by one, and then it has started. So if you want to know why it has done something, you will be able to see in this logs. Many of the times it has done some change and it has gone away, and there were error and it has resolved it again. While doing unit testing, it wrote the test. There were a lot of failures and errors. It resolved them one by one and then it ran the test, and at the end it was passing. Let's see the changes it has done as per our review comments. We'll go through them one by one. So let's see. In application properties, it has added the short ly. So now if you see the short ly, which it was hard coded, it has gotten from the properties. And the comment which we gave that the short.ly should not be hard coded is resolved by this. Let's see the changes in service. One of the changes which we told it that if you are using length as a parameter, it will increase the collision. So it has changed the logic here. As you can see, it has generated a short code. This method it has written using secure random, and it has reduced the number of collisions using this. While it contains that, it is generating the shortcode again and again, and it will generate random unique shortcode. The URL should be unique to be entered in the URL map. So it will generate a unique short URL using this algorithm, and then the shortcode will be added to the hash map here. So this what it has done to avoid the collision. And then it has checked if URL is valid or not, and here it is checking if the URL is valid or not. Comments which we have given here is that there is no validation of input URLs. We should check if the URL is valid before processing. It has changed it here. It is checked if the URL is valid or not here. This is also done. We'll go to the next class, which is create short URL request. We are not using string, as I have written here, that no error handling response code are provided. Everything returns as plain string. The request is created and the response also is created for this. As you can see, it is quite nice. Now we will have a JSON request and response. Let's go to the controller. Also has a different name now. It is a create short URL. Also get has a different name now, get long URL, and the long URL null check should be added here, which we asked it. So it is in get short URL domain. We'll go to this method, get short URL. So it got the URL domain here. It created the domain, and then it will find the short URL, and it will get the long URL from this service using this get long method. This get long, we are just getting it from hash map. So it has added no null check here. Let's see if it is needed or not, the null check. After the changes it has done, maybe there was no null check needed. That's why it has not added. So the domain, get shorter domain, it will always be there because we are getting it from the property. So it will always be there. Whatever input we will send to this, it will not be null. So there is no null check needed here. Previously with the previous logic it was needed, but now I think it is not needed. Now it has not added the null check, which is quite smart. We don't have any error handling, that is also done here, and we are sending response entity back. We are sending status code, bad request, internal server error, not found if the URL is not found. That is also added, which is correct. As you can already see, it has added the unit test cases. Now we can say that it has handled all the review comments which we have. So we will accept them all. You can either accept it from here, you can do accept all, and then you can just commit your changes from here. Either you can use a command line and add your changes and push those changes, and all your comments will be automatically resolved. You just have to review using this simple MCP tool. We will also be doing the same demo with Gemini CLI. Let's move on to Gemini CLI configuration, how we can add MCP server in Gemini CLI. So let's move on to Gemini CLI. In the starting, you just have to install Gemini CLI. There are a lot of videos and installation of Gemini CLI you can see on YouTube, and it is very simple. Now to configure the MCP server, what you can do is in the starting you can just put /help. Here you can see all the commands you can use for Gemini CLI. You can just put /mcp. I have already configured the MCP server here, so it is listing my MCP server. Here also when you start, it was showing that it is using one MCP server. So here also you can see, here you can see the MCP server's name and the tool. How you can configure MCP server is very easy. If you put /mcp in your Gemini CLI, when you have not configured any MCP server and you put /mcp, you will be redirected to this configuration. This configuration is very simple and straightforward, and will tell you much more information about configuring the MCP server. A simple stdio server we will be configuring, so I will be telling you. First, this link will be in the description if you want to read more. And if you create a different MCP server which are different transport, this might help you. So let's move on to configuration of our MCP server. To configure MCP server in Gemini CLI, you have to go to C users, your username, and .gemini folder. You will be having settings.json. This is how you will configure your MCP server. This is same as previously, just it is MCP servers here, and it is the same thing which I have done there. Adding command, which is my Java path, the arguments, which is Java -jar running of our jar, and the environment, the GitHub token which we need. So I have put star here, so I will be changing it with the correct GitHub token and saving it again after showing you guys. And then this is how you can also configure a MCP server. This is my basic stdio server, will be running in local here. So for other MCP server, you can check out the documentation. Now for the demo, I will be giving it the same prompt which I gave GitHub Copilot AI agent. Let's see what it does. So it is asking for the repository owner and the repository name, as we have already given the PR number 1 in the previous prompt. So I will be giving it. So it is asking me if it can use my MCP server and this tool, and this will be the input. It has prepared an input here which my MCP tool needs, and is asking me to allow the execution of this list PR commands tool from this MCP server. So I will be giving it permission. As you can see, it has got all the PR comments here using my MCP server. Let me ask it to do all the changes in my files, and then we can review it at the end, just like we did for GitHub Copilot AI agent. So let's do it. As you can see, it is doing the changes to the files. You can also check what changes it is doing here. You can see it is adding the URL validations, is changing the logic so that collision will not happen again and again, and you can see the changes here. But for this we will see at the end in ID only what changes it has done with this PR review comments. This will happen for a while, so I will be allowing everything and we will see changes in the end. Just like GitHub Copilot, it is also have written the test cases and asking me if it can run the test cases, and have given it permission, and it is running the test cases. And once it is done, we'll see. As you can see, it has brought the test cases, ran the test cases, all tests are passed, and it has run the maven test command, and all tests are passed, all the changes it has worked. So we can review those changes in the ID. So as you can see, it has done some changes. We will see them one by one. In our form.xml, it has added a validator dependency, maybe to validate a URL or something. So this is the change it has done. In controller, as you can see, it has changed the URL endpoints and method names to proper RESTful form. This is how the changes are done here. I see some hard coding here which we told it to remove. It has not done it here. I think we'll go to the service part. In service, it has added URL validation, which is good. It has changed the logic for the collision, which is also good here. In our get long, it is checking if the domain will be replaced by this. So whatever will be the domain will be replaced by this, but the domain is still hard coded. It's not taken from the properties I see. This is one thing which is missed by Gemini CLI. Apart from this, in the test, it has generated the test cases which are very less than GitHub Copilot AI agent is what I can say, but they are still there. It has automatically ran it. If we see our comments, let's see. I think it has taken care of this guy. It has taken care of this URL validation, also have taken care of this to replace by empty, and then this also is taken care. Error handling, we will check. We have added error handling. We are returning response entity. Still we are returning string here, which is different from what we have seen in GitHub Copilot AI agent. Here we are returning void. The response and request were not created for this. Short domain is still hard coded in Gemini CLI, and it has added unit test cases, but quite less scenarios is what I saw. This is our demo, but the demo was not to compare GitHub Copilot AI agent or Gemini CLI. It was to show you how we can create a simple MCP server which will help you in this. Without this MCP server, you will take a lot of time in resolving these bugs, writing the test cases and other things which it has done automatically while you are having tea or something. It is good. You can just review it and you can do the changes what it has left. Just like it left some changes, you can do them manually, or you can re-prompt your AI agent to do those changes, and it will do it for you. So that's it for the video. We have used MCP to supercharge GitHub Copilot AI agent and Gemini CLI, and we saw it brought us a lot of value, as it was a very simple MCP server. Then also it brought us a lot of value, and it saved a lot of our time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you are here till the end of video, please like this video, comment, subscribe and hit the bell icon. I will be posting more videos soon, and we'll see you next time.